John Davis, absolutely one of the best.
John Davis True Crime.
John Davis True Crime.
John Davis doing what true crimers do.
John Davis True Crime.
John Davis.
John Davis True Crime.
Mr. John Davis. John Davis True Crime.
John Davis True Crime.
This guy John Davis.
John Davis True Crime.
John Davis True Crime. Maybe that's where I've heard that name before.
John Davis True Crime.
John Davis, and it's good to see you, John. How are you?
John Davis True Crime.
John Davis True.
Hey, John Davis.
John Davis.
John Davis True Crime. John Davis True Crime kicks butt.
Tune in and watch John Davis True Crime. You will love it. It's one of the best channels on YouTube. Tune in. It's John Davis True Crime.
Hello, everyone. Happy May 29th, 2024. Good to see you guys today. Big news, big news. Today, we actually have us a studio audience. Say hi, studio audience. So, thank you. That's new for today. We just added the studio audience. I thought we'd step our game up. Randy was against it, but I was like, I think we should do it. Got about 20 in studio today. Yeah, they can clap. That's all it is. We let them clap every now and then. They'll make other noises for us. Greatest thing ever. Check it out. I got like 20 on here. But it's all about timing. You got to work them in right. You know what I'm saying? And I haven't learned them well enough yet. I kind of, hold on. No, I think it's this one. No, shit. I like that one. That one's pretty tight, ain't it? I tell y'all, you know, to me, it's the little things, right? You got to enjoy the little things. Because if you don't, what's it all about? We're going to have Liplocked up in a little bit. I think Brandy's supposed to be with us this morning. I'm not sure. She's been near the camera. She ain't made it on yet. She's out making deals with Harley to come in. Come on, Harley, come here, girl. You want a treat? Tell her you had a treat?
No.
Sure, you tried treat. I haven't seen any. What's the newest thing y'all heard lately that was big news? Anything? Out of anything? I haven't seen much. We are in Liplocked's pocket. LOL. She has to walk her cat. Yeah, she probably got to warm up a electric blanket and grease her tennis ball or walker. She'll be here. I like a good walk, but man, it is so hot and muggy anymore. I'm starting to think there might be something to climate change. I swear it seems like the older I get, the hotter it gets every year. We've had a couple days already, and we ain't even made it to June yet, where I was like, oh, this is just miserable.
I think they mess with our weather in a different way, but you can say climate change.
Yeah.
Get in here.
I seen this the other day, and you know, somebody commented this. It was a post about Lori Vallow, and somebody said she should have just reported them as runaways in Tennessee because then she would have gotten away with it. Just my opinion. Talking about, because somebody had actually asked, what's the difference in the police arresting Lori for not being able to present her kids? Why can't they do that to Katie? And I was like, well, that's two totally different situations. Katie reported her child as missing, and it seems like she reported him pretty close to the time because there's footage and all that. In Lori's case, they hadn't seen her kids in forever, and she never reported them missing. But I kind of get what they were saying. If Lori, they were trying to insinuate if Lori would have been from Tennessee and just said, hey, they're missing, she wouldn't have gotten in trouble because they never figured it out. I think what they were implying. Tell you what, man, TBI's got a couple open ones right now that I don't see going away ever. Well, and I guess technically it's not technically it's not really on TBI as much as it is as the county sheriff's office. I don't know. It seems like how many county sheriff's offices are equipped to deal with this, do you think, and be capable of figuring it out? I don't know. It seems like, speaking for me personally, my area, I would be frightened to think it was on our sheriff's department to figure this out. And if they couldn't, then there was going to be no end to it ever. It's a scary thought, and this is not, this is a bigger area though where Sebastian's missing from, but still, I don't know. I don't know how many sheriff's department are really capable of dealing with something to this magnitude where there's no sign of this kid. It's cold where I am in northern Canada. Wow. I didn't realize you were that far north. I bet it is. I bet it's always cold where you're at. What's the warmest it gets? Probably 60, 70. Oh, I seen this the other day because there's not much out on Elijah Vu. I don't know why it doesn't draw more interest in finding him and more stuff than it does, really. But this said, it was on Reddit, and I think this sounds legit. It says, I'm local. Vang admitted he made the child take cold showers when he soiled his diaper and made him stand at the end of the bed for hours while Vang slept. Mom left the toddler there so Vang could teach him to be a man and fix behavior. They completely searched his apartment, and it's been since listed for rent. So Vang's apartment now is listed to be rented. I hope they've done everything possible they can to go over that thing. I'm assuming they have, since they've got him in jail, I would think. But that's wild. With Elijah still missing, that's the crime scenes available for rent. They completely searched his apartment. It's been since listed for rent. Mom's was searched in Wydell's. That's where she was at, I'm assuming. Neither will say what happened. Mom has a deleted photo from 4 days earlier of the toddler blindfolded on a bed. She left her older child out in 27-degree weather while sleeping in the car to see Vang and, interact with him. She lied about ever being there, but her phone records say otherwise. Vang borrowed a car from a neighbor a day or two before Toller was reported missing. That car has also been found and taken for evidence. See, now, yeah, I didn't realize that was the situation. That's what I was trying to get to, is they're saying that car, I forget, there was a car that come up in Elijah's story a while back, and they found it, and they and got it, and I guess, and got evidence and everything from it. But this is how that come to be. They're saying that was a neighbor's car, a car from a neighbor a day or two before Toller was reported missing. Vang borrowed a car. Oh man, I bet I remember seeing that car. I wonder. Do what?
Not their car.
No, I didn't know that either. But that's the story behind that car. It didn't look. I can't remember now, but it didn't look like it probably had a great computer system on. I wonder if they can check that on a car like that.
An older car.
They could probably check the mileage and stuff from the day, right?
They knew what it was before.
I bet they could. I bet they could get that anyway. Like the mileage it traveled that day.
How old was the car?
I don't. You don't remember? It was. I can't remember either. It's been a while since I've talked about that case.
No, nah.
You can do what you want.
Well, that's okay.
Don't hit the camera. Oh, you already hit it.
Yeah, I was wrong because it's entangled in it somehow. Well, oh, you just turn around. Okay. Nah, I'll just leave it alone.
That's way too much. Turn it down.
Turn it down. You like something you don't.
Just come over here and sit down. Let me take care of it. Good. Can't stand that shit, boy. How's that?
Ask them. See if they see it. I don't know.
I was fine before, so.
Oh. Is it better with no light? Then y'all don't have to look at him. Is that better? Better like that.
Check this out. Okay, where's Chad at? Gotta keep Chad up because I'm waiting on there's. I'm here when you're ready.
Waiting on who?
Liplocked's ready now too. Get the link. Copy. Boom. There you go, Liplocked. I'm hoping we're having a good internet day. I swear it seems to vary.
Yeah.
How's it looking outside?
Okay. But you know, the radio station I listen to, it's been out for that 2 day or a couple days. A bunch of them around here are out, like totally out. Like J104 out. That storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
Man, it's weird. It looks like a tornado touchdown about beside our house. There is a tree which ripped in half.
Yeah, I heard it crack. I didn't know what it was.
It's wild.
All of a sudden it got real windy. And then I heard
You heard that when that happened?
Yeah. It was lightning and then I heard crack, snap, like it was weird. And that's what it was, that tree.
It's gotta be. It's wild because it split like a long ways, like damn.
And I heard the neighbors come out on their porch and was talking about it.
He was listening in.
No, yeah. They were looking to see what it was because it's so loud. And there's a tree on the way. I took the kids to school in somebody's yard the same. It was like half in the middle.
Any of y'all experienced that storm a few days ago? Damn, that's Liplocked.
Right.
Sorry, I got carried away with the storm. I hope you wasn't there long.
No, I was just here for a moment. As a matter of fact, the second I popped up is when Brandy said all of a sudden the wind kicked up. I thought she was talking about me.
No.
Plus, looking at Brandy this morning, I'm reluctant to be on camera. Brandy, you are looking fine, lady.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's how I roll.
Yeah.
I don't look this way all the time now. I feel like getting makeup on, but not all the time.
Yeah. How's it going?
Well, I'd like to welcome the studio audience.
Okay.
What we have about 20 this morning in the studio, you said?
About.
Maybe some more people come in, hopefully.
I didn't get to see the studio audience because I was walking Rags. And by the way, Rags is not a cat.
Jesse said that, not me. I was calling her out for it, is what happened.
Oh, whatever. I saw that Messy Jessie put that in chat, but I know that Messy Jessie knows better than that. Rags is a border collie pit bull Labrador.
Oh,
sweet.
Wow.
So what are we talking about this morning, darlings?
Hey, did you hear what I was saying about Elijah Boo?
I did. I heard most of it.
Did you know that? Do you know that story, the case? His story?
I know. I followed it up until Jesse Bang was arrested.
Right. I didn't realize though that that car they were looking for had been the car, the neighbor's car they had borrowed, and that's where they think he went missing. Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to speak over you. I'm not used to panels.
No, you're fine.
Go ahead.
I had no idea about the neighbor's car.
I didn't either.
The first I heard about it is when you were talking about it.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that either. That makes me think they borrowed the car for a reason, you know, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it ain't a coincidence he borrowed that car and it's right around when Elijah went missing. I would say that's when he took him wherever he took him and did whatever he did with him.
Has the car been impounded?
Oh, yeah, they've had the car for a long time.
Okay. I don't know
Yeah.
why I didn't hear about it. But okay, so they've done forensics on the car?
I'm assuming, yes. They have the car in. I know the police have the car. Yeah, I know they did because there was a whole. Yeah, they've been through the car.
They haven't said if they found anything though. So, have they? I don't think they have. I haven't heard anything.
Well, I think they have. No, I don't know. No, I'm not sure. I don't think they would tell us one way or the other if they had evidence out of it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I mean.
I would like to think they would not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of those that I like it when law enforcement plays it really close to the vest, and the less they tell the public, the better for the case.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree. And people get mad because of that. But
yeah, people on social media want to hate on that, but it's better for the case.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Well, I think a lot of times it's because people don't understand the ramifications.
Right.
And I get it. I get that people want information. I started to say, especially with missing children and whatnot. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just speaking from my heart because it's a child.
Right.
And so many of us feel protective towards children. And we just seem to have this hunger and thirst wanting to know more. Have you found Elijah yet? If you found him, what, all these little details. And I do totally get it. I'm a very curious woman myself. But it's more important that the evidence and the chain of evidence be maintained so that if and when someone is brought to trial, it hasn't been contaminated or bastardized.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll do that evidence in an interview. You know, if the person that did it knows that information, you know, you have the right person if it's not out there a lot of times, you know.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, Brandy. You know, a lot of times law enforcement doesn't want to reveal a certain thing because if the suspect or the actual perpetrator out there learns that LE knows that certain thing, then they can alter their behavior or what they say. For one example would be like with Harmony Montgomery. I don't know that Adam Montgomery was being clued in by anything that was coming out publicly, but you know, a person puts a body in a certain location, then perhaps they learn that location has no, I beg your pardon. Let me amend that. An area has been searched and cleared.
Right.
That's announced publicly. Well, then, you know, that place has been cleared. That's where you might want to take that body.
Yes.
Thinking you're not going to search it again. That's just one really weird kind of loose example, but.
That was like with EquiSearch with Summer Wells. I feel like that's why they were so critical about not telling where they had searched, because of that very thing. They was afraid then they would return evidence to that spot, because knowing it had done been searched and cleared by EquiSearch, it wouldn't be searched again.
Yes, I remember Dave Radar talking about that in the Summer Wells case.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't recall what channel he was on. It doesn't really matter, but he was on a panel, and when asked, that was his response.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. Have they found any? Have they found Elijah or anything associated with Elijah? Or
not that nothing confirmed that I know of. No.
They had such a head start, you know, before they actually knew that he was missing. You know, who knows? You know, who he is. That's the bad thing about it. And he's so little, you know. So. Yeah.
And John, I was also taking note of the examples you were giving in the Daybell Vallow case. You know, that Lori Daybell not only did not report her children missing, she would not give them up when it was insisted by law enforcement that she do so.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's a different ball of wax, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's what I say. Anybody that don't call in their kids missing, they're guilty. If they, you know, days go by, even a whole day, you know.
Yeah.
Come on, you know when your kids are missing within an hour or within 10 minutes, a little kid.
Yeah.
So.
Well, y'all know I'm an old great granny ma, so it's been a long time since I have had an actual, like a child living in my home.
Right.
But we have grandchildren, and I asked my husband several months ago. Actually, it was right after Sebastian Rogers' disappearance, because of the way they did that three-way phone call. I presented that to my husband, but I didn't present the case. I presented it to him as putting us in those shoes, okay? And I set up the scenario to him. You're at work, I'm at home, and I have our 7-year-old grandson. Our 7-year-old grandson's father lives 3 hours away, and that's true. Well, not quite that far, but okay, he doesn't live here.
Right.
So I said to my husband, if I'm home with our grandson and I can't find him all of a sudden, or you've already gone to work and I get up and go into his room and he's not there, do you want me to call you first, or do you want me to call 911? I won't use my husband's language here on your channel, but it did include the F word. Call 911 first.
Right.
Yeah.
He was adamant. If anything like that ever happens in our lives, you call the law first, then you call me.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because you want that search to begin. Boom. Now, all of this is in my head because I've never been in this situation.
Right.
So in reality, I honestly don't know what I would do, John and Brandy,
Right.
other than totally freaking out.
I don't know if I would have time for a three-way call, you know.
I would be running through the neighborhood screaming my grandson's name. I would be banging on my neighbor's doors. That I do know.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be banging on their doors as in, do you have my grandson? I would be banging on the doors
to help.
You know?
Right. Yeah, definitely.
My thing with Katie though is what gets it for me is how far away Chris is.
Yeah.
If he's 3+ hours away, I think that's got to factor in. Even in the moment, I think that would factor in to me that somebody 3.5 hours away can't do shit for my situation right now.
I know.
Like, nothing. I would think that should factor in, but you know, I have never been in the situation.
Well, it would factor in for me, and if well, in the scenario here in my family, the imaginary scenario, I purposefully mentioned that my grandson's father, my youngest son, lives a couple of hours away. You notice my husband said, call 911, then you call me. My husband works here in town.
Right.
Then I call our son. Now, I'm not leaving him till last because he matters the least. He actually, in a way, matters the most other than our grandson because he's daddy. However, in that moment, going back to Chris Proudfoot, 3.5 hours away, in that moment, what matters the most is the immediacy of the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from 3.5 hours away, there ain't a damn thing. I'm sorry. There ain't a doggone thing that Chris Proudfoot can do.
No.
Exactly.
And another thing that winds me up about that fellow is, why is he talking about what was happening on Sunday evening, and throughout the morning, you know, from midnight till 6 of Monday morning, the 26th of February? He wasn't there.
No. Good point. Yeah, he wasn't there. He's only going by what Katie told him, or they made up.
I mean, it's just like how Dawn explains Candace's day for her quite often. Well, not recently anymore, but we've heard it a lot. Tell the story of how that day went for somebody that wasn't there.
Oh yeah. Back when I first came up on YouTube, probably just a few months into me talking about Summer Wells, I began presenting to my audience and would say in chat rooms regarding Don Wells, if Don Wells is telling the truth and he was at work when Summer Moon Utah Wells disappeared, then every word that comes out of his mouth is hearsay.
Yes. Yes.
So why is he the one telling the story? And I apologize. I know I don't really like to compare. It's kind of hard to not compare, honestly.
Yeah.
Why do y'all think Katie allows Chris to do the majority of the talking?
She's just not secure. I don't know. Maybe she looks too guilty when she actually talks to people.
I hate to play the devil's advocate here, but
please do. Please do.
There are people that are shy and don't like to. I mean, they're just not, you know, a lot of people won't come up on a panel. You know, a lot of people, it's out of, they're not going to do that. So, I mean, to be honest, that could be some of it, you know, I don't know.
Yeah,
it could be.
That's why that's why I like to know what people that actually know her say about it. Like how Seth's mom says Chris is a bad dude, right? Basically, I'm just summarizing the feeling she gives me when she speaks of him. She knows him. I don't know, Katie, so I don't know that she's not. I tell you what, if this would have happened to us when Brandy was younger, I don't know that you'd ever got her on YouTube to talk to people.
Yeah, I was just very awkward and backwards.
Just socially would not do something like that. And
yeah. I'm sorry.
And and do we know Sebastian? We know he had autism. Do we know where that came from? Because that can be hereditary, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
I haven't done a whole lot of research on autism,
right.
But it's my understanding that there are genetics involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But there are a number of even conspiracy theories about autism. So I'm a little reluctant to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I'm curious, and there's no way we would know the answer, so it's a rhetorical question. But I'm curious why Sebastian was 14, 15 years old before he was diagnosed with autism.
See, I was
too.
Yes, that's what I was telling Brandy. I said, because I know the spectrum varies. Does that mean like he was really
high functioning
and it wasn't easy to spot, or was it? I'm like you. I'd like to know that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I have, and I don't want to make it about me and my family, but I mean, I have 3 of my 8 grandchildren. 3 of them are on the spectrum to varying degrees. Well, 2 of them and the mate of one of them, a grandson-in-law. Okay. Mm-hmm. The grandson-in-law and my older granddaughter, you would never know. If you didn't know, you wouldn't know unless you were to enter their personal space. If you try to touch or get very close to my granddaughter, she will physically pull back from you. Okay. Our 7-year-old grandson that I mentioned is currently in the process of being diagnosed. And he had developmental delay in speech and some other issues, motor skills and whatnot. So it does affect, I mean, it's such a broad, it's why it's called a spectrum, I guess, because it's so broad.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I suppose that it's totally possible, and that maybe the symptoms connected with his what is the other thing? The chromosome deletion.
Right.
I can never remember. It's complicated, but I don't know anything about that, or perhaps if he, what's the other thing they said? ADHD.
I think so. Maybe.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Maybe there are symptoms or signs that are similar, and perhaps there was a misdiagnosis. I don't.
Yeah.
You know. And John, something you said about Katie really rung true with me, and it's something I think we should all remember. We don't know any of these people.
Yeah.
We only see and hear what we see and hear on public social media platforms.
Right.
So I have been really guilty myself of judging people based on what I am seeing of them. And I'm so happy that you made the remark. You don't know Katie. I don't know Katie. We don't have a baseline.
Exactly.
And yes, it's totally possible. And that she is just too shy. Maybe that's why she does. You know, not everybody is gregarious and outgoing like we are.
Exactly.
There are members of my family that I couldn't get them on YouTube if I paid them $1 million.
Right.
On the other hand, I would like to think that it wouldn't matter how shy I am if my child was missing.
All right.
But
I'd like to think I would make myself do it, but I don't know, Brandy. I'm not shy, see, so I can't relate to it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to play devil's advocate again.
Okay, I love that.
Katie has been on a few programs. Okay, she did do Nancy Grace. Now, to me, doing Nancy Grace would be the scariest thing you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did that, and she's done some news. You know, I don't know that I would be doing YouTube as far as what is it really going to help? You've seen what happens when people come on YouTube. Nobody is innocent to everybody.
Yeah. I think Seth is just making the case all a mess, my opinion.
You know, and I personally, I would not. If I didn't do YouTube and I know what I know about YouTube, I would not come on YouTube. I might come on once or twice. And like I said, she's made appearances before. It's not like she's never been on. And she did the bigger network stuff for the news and the Nancy Grace. Those are probably a lot more important than coming on any YouTube channel. So, I mean, she hasn't, you know.
I'm in concurrence with you regarding YouTube, TikTok, X, all of these platforms. There was a time I would not have been in agreement with you. I'm sorry about the traffic noise.
No, you're fine.
I can go inside if it's too noisy out here.
No, you're fine.
Okay, thank you. What were we talking about now? I'm sorry. Being in concurrence with you regarding YouTube. And okay. There was a time a couple of years ago before it really went crazy in the Summer Wells case that I actually viewed YouTube as a potential asset for parents and family members of missing persons. But I came onto YouTube as, among other things, a retired television news director, 6 and 10 o'clock news anchor, and field reporter. So I know how mainstream media works, and I made the dumb mistake of giving YouTube the credit to be operating pretty much the same, and it does not.
Right.
Yeah. So when Sebastian's case came to light on social media, I made a video for my audience saying I would not be covering this case because of everything we've been discussing here. And I strongly recommended to anybody and everybody in my viewing audience, if you ever have a person missing in your family, don't effing go to YouTube.
Yeah.
They will take, the people, not all of us, but a great number of folks on this platform and others, in my opinion, this is my opinion, not John and Brandy's, but in my opinion, the majority of people on this platform will dig into your past, your kids' past, your parents' past, your grandma and grandpa's past, your next door neighbor's past, who they screwed, who they blued, who they tattooed. If you've ever been arrested, if you haven't been arrested, how come they can't find your record? Well, you had to have been arrested sometime in your life. What did you do to your kid that made them want to not be there? Oh, well, you killed your kid. Oh, you did this, you did that, you did that. Don't bring your missing persons case to YouTube, folks.
Oh, yeah.
People
pick it apart.
You guys know I can get on a rant. I'm trying to keep it reined in.
I think on a missing kids case, you're better off just putting their poster out and calling it a day. I think that's the best thing people can do for Sebastian is put his poster out, and you can talk about whatever you want. If I was the parent, that's what I'd want. If I honestly believe my child was missing, I'd want his face everywhere. Everywhere. There would be no place I wouldn't want to see him. I think now I've seen a lot of these now cases. I've been at this for 3 years of watching a lot. I think I could damn sure tell you what not to do if your kid is missing and what to do that would be the most beneficial.
Yeah.
And like I'll see them talk about gossip with Proudfoot and Katie and Chris and Seth and all of them for hours and never show Sebastian's picture one time.
They're just talking about each other, really.
Not one time. And, he's still somewhere. He's out there. I try to show it multiple times. If I had a missing kid and if I was advising the parents of a missing kid, that's what I would want.
I agree.
That 24/7.
Me too, John and Brandy. Me too. I've asked around here on the streets of YouTube and different live chats that I mod for, or some where I'm just chatting.
Mm-hmm.
And I've even presented it directly to the creators in a few situations, asking them why. Why don't you show the poster, give the information that is on the poster, and talk about the child and just the facts that we know? And the answer across the board is so disappointing to me because I don't get the views.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you and I are not real up. We're not up in the algorithm. You know, our channels aren't splashed across everybody's homepage or recommended every time they cue into YouTube, because we're not drama driven, for one thing, in my opinion. I am somewhat. You guys aren't. But I'm trying to.
I get what you're saying. A lot of YouTubers use clickbait titles and everything. And
If I wanted to be in the algorithm, I could be. It's just I don't feel like I'm selling out to do it.
I do. Oh, yes, that's where I'm trying to. Thank you, kids. That's what I was struggling there, trying to find the right words.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say I don't care about views on YouTube. Obviously, I do, or I wouldn't be here.
Right.
Everybody's competitive.
Of course I want views. Of course I want subs. Of course I want people to share me. Of course I do. But if I get a few hundred views or several thousand views, I don't care. I don't know how to phrase it that it doesn't sound like I'm contradicting myself.
Yeah.
I do want the views, but I'm not going to put a name in my title. I'm not going to @ somebody. I'm not going to hashtag just to get you to come over and click on my channel so that I can sit there and talk a bunch of shit about somebody.
Yeah, I totally do. Yeah, I feel the same way.
Now that's about as straight as I can be about it and not go over the top.
I know, and it's like, I know if I did that though, I could, like, if I would have propped this up and been like, True Crime Sebastian Rogers open panel updates galore with Liplocked nomore.
Oh yeah.
Hashtag free Ukraine. I could have got 1 million people up in this joint, but I
would just feel dirty.
I would feel slimy.
Yeah, I could do it.
Yes, exactly. It's so manipulative. And when I see, this is, you know, I won't say any names of creators, obviously, but when I see thumbnails of things like a picture of Sebastian with an arrow curved and pointing at his crotch with the words pissy pants on the screen, whoa!
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see a lot of them.
I don't even make thumbnails because I feel like they're manipulative. I mean, I use like copyright free photos that I downloaded off of Google, or pictures of myself, or, you know, I've got a friend that's also on YouTube, and they took some stills of me off of my channel and then did some artsy stuff with it, you know, and sent them to me to use as thumbnails. I don't even know how to do all that fancy stuff.
Right.
But if I could make thumbnails, I promise the world it would not be a trick. And it wouldn't be a manipulation that is, I mean, what if Sebastian is found and he sees that?
Right.
See, that's the thing too, you know. People that are supposed to be foreign make videos accentuating the stuff that Chris and Katie say that's bad. And I think, well, if you are Team Sebastian, would you want to make more out of it? I mean, it's not you can't say something like that's really a clue. Right? Like take the peeing thing, right? And how many videos bring that up and talk about it and rail on it, and
it don't have nothing to do with the case, really.
Exactly. In the end, you know, it's bad to know, and it's embarrassing for him. That's why I questioned so much when Seth let out the bag about what had happened.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I'm telling you, if that was my son, that is not something that needs to be out there. If he gets found, I don't want him being embarrassed. Now that everybody has found this out, I question that so much, and I've lost tons of subscribers for not being Team Seth, but I'm Team Honest. That was a horrible damn move. Horrible.
I agree, John. I completely agree.
The reason I brought that up is to get back at Katie, or, you know,
yeah,
try to make them look bad is the only reason he brought.
I mean, that's I call it honest. It is what it is. You got, and now a lot of this, you got to think these people saying this about each other were in apparently a horrible marriage with a lot of drama, to say the least. How much can you believe what either one of them saying about the other one? You know, how much of it is hurt feelings, vindictive, whatever. You know, Seth's got a lot of reasons to be pissed off. She put him out, he was homeless, you know. I'm just saying it.
To her and everything else. So.
Yeah, but it's fine if you talk about something bad about Chris Proudfoot, that's fine. But if you bring up anything against Seth, oh no, you went too far. He's the father of a missing child. Well, you know, they're all parents of missing child that we don't know what's happened to yet. I'm just saying, I think everybody's a little quick to judge and sling mud one way and just ignore what else is going on. We both helping lately. Seth has not been helping the situation lately. I think most anybody can see that.
Admittedly, right after Sebastian went missing and we began seeing Seth, Chris, and Katie speak publicly, I was what they were calling Team Seth. And I did that based unfairly on what I was hearing come out of Chris Proudfoot's mouth, because I don't effing like Chris Proudfoot. Because I think what we're saying is who he really is. And in real life, I would not have a person like that around me. Okay. So that's the unfair part, because I was judging on personality traits.
Which I don't like him either, really.
Yeah. And you notice I was saying judging. I was judging these people that I don't know and have no baseline on. And I, as a mom and a grandma, and because Katie was the one when she made that was with Sebastian in the home when he disappeared, I was also kind of on Team Katie until she made the statement about the thud at 10 o'clock. And she didn't go to check on him. That really, really bothers me. However, back to what we're actually talking about rather than a rabbit hole.
All right.
When Seth came out and basically started doing the thing that I, in my mind and in chat rooms, was criticizing Chris and Katie for. I was criticizing them and saying things like, tell me something good about your son. Tell me something interesting and encouraging. Tell me what he likes. Tell me what he was interested in. Tell me good things. Don't not these all of these negative traits that you're sharing with us. Tell me some good stuff. They went on a panel, and for a number of hours, the ladies' channel that it is, they talked about all kinds of things about Sebastian. what he liked to eat, all kinds of things. Now, I didn't listen to the whole thing. It was really long, but the parts that I would go back and forth, they were actually talking about Sebastian and good things. Now they're being criticized for that. Because y'all didn't ask the hard questions. Y'all didn't this, y'all didn't that. All we heard was, well, what do you want, public?
Right.
Right.
Viewers of YouTube, do you want, and I find that a lot of viewers of YouTube are extremely fickle.
Yes.
They don't know what they want. They want Sebastian found. They know that. They want him to be safe. They want everything to be okay. But, and I'm probably going to lose viewers over this as well. But viewers who have no experience or background in certain areas of life don't have a foundation upon which they are basing their feelings and opinions. Yeah. Like the thing of wanting to know everything that's going on from law enforcement. No, you don't get to know that, public.
Right.
Guess why? Because it's none of your business. That's why.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Some people, and that's the honest truth. Some people feel so entitled to knowing just every little thing, and that does not help a prosecution for that to happen. You got to look at it big picture. What's better for us to know now, and what's better to get somebody convicted in court?
Yeah.
Bingo.
I want convictions. I want consequences for actions. More than anything, I don't know if I'm as an advocate as much as I am on vengeance. I want to see people pay for doing horrible shit to kids.
Right.
And
you too.
I try to follow a path that I don't affect that adversely. You know, I really do.
Yes.
I'd love to know this stuff too. I'm nosy. I'm nosy as the next guy. But I see people talking about wanting lawyers to sue Chris and Katie and be able to go in and search their house.
I saw that, or I heard that. I'm like, what? WTF?
Yeah, really.
Are you kidding me? What about the Constitution? What about your rights as a private citizen?
Pray to God if you believe in that kind of stuff, you never find yourself in a bad situation.
Yeah, really.
Because it comes back and bite you in the ass eventually.
You know,
a lot of people want stuff that's harmful for them, and they just don't realize it.
One thing that I wish that folks would do is try to put yourself in the shoes of the person who is being raked over the coals on social media. Try to look back in your mind's eye through your life, the things that could be drug up, where they could get a hold of, let's say, a member of your family that you don't get along with that wants to talk some smack on you. All kinds of things. Go through your own Rolodex in your own brain and go, okay, if I were to go up on this public platform and say yada yada, then these, in this situation, let's just say for sake of discussion, then these YouTubers, they're going to start looking at my Facebook, then they're going to start looking at my friends' Facebook, then they're going to start trying to be friends with my friends on Facebook and find out. So if you put yourself, viewers, and if I put myself, which I have done, in the shoes of the person being raked over the coals, what about you, your past, your life, your family's life would then be made public that you really wish would have stayed under the rug? Do you want that to happen to you? If you don't, why would you want it to happen to someone else?
You know, I don't want to come off wrong though. I do not mind when bad people are called out for bad shit.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
I think a lot of this goes too far with shit that doesn't have have to do with the case. Exactly. Right. It gets too far from, you're getting away from the objective at some point by going to nonsense.
But I understand what you're saying. Yeah, you shouldn't be.
And on that, and to dovetail into what you're saying there, yes, because in some situations there's information there that could be relevant or pertinent to the case based on a person's past behavior or criminal record and things of that nature. Yeah. But we've got to find, where do we find the balance?
Right. A lot of people do it for evil or getting stuff started.
Yes, Brandy. And what is our motivation? As Brandy was saying, are we talking about it to help, or are we talking about it to hurt?
Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly, and that's where I think it gets to a lot of the time is where, but at the end of all this, leads, you're just trying to hurt them now.
Yeah.
You're not trying to find out, what happened to the kid anymore. You're just trying to hurt this person that you think is responsible.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
seems like in a couple, I shouldn't say a number, the Sebastian's case and Summer's case, both of these cases seem to have numerous people who have personal vendettas that have nothing to do with Summer.
Yeah.
And they brought them to the public eye, and in some cases attempted to weave them into the tapestry of Summer's case.
Oh, yeah.
And it can be so challenging, downright disheartening in some cases, to try to differentiate between one and the other.
I tell you, I honestly feel some people have developed just an unnatural hate for the Wells that, to me, I don't know how you can hate a stranger that much
without knowing them,
by stuff you've learned from neighbors and different things. I just don't have that much hate in me. I cannot like them. I can say, I think they're bad people. They've done some horrible shit, but I just can't sit and rage on hatred for them,
all the time.
Some people, it consumes them. It really does.
Yes. Yeah. It's, now, I'm sure there would be receipts on my channel because I don't delete things, even when I've said things I shouldn't have said. I leave them up.
Everybody does that. Yeah.
And so I'm pretty sure that if a person went back far enough, they would probably find a video, maybe more than one, where I actually have said out of my mouth that I despise Candace Bly.
Yeah.
Well, we don't like her. I don't really like her either.
And in moments where, and you guys have watched my channel, that I can fly into a rage. And when I fly into a rage, I will say things that I can't take back.
Right.
And so I'm pretty sure I have literally said that I absolutely despise that woman. There are several people I've said I despise. But for me, there's a difference in hating someone. Hatred for me is an emotion, and despising someone is a state of mind. Yeah. Now, I realize I'm splitting hairs there, and I'm doing it for my own benefit. But my despising of Candace Bly is because I feel like she's responsible in some way or another. I don't know how, but I feel like she's responsible.
Oh, I agree totally.
Through her irresponsibility, if that makes any sense.
No, yeah, it does.
I always said I think the one thing I can say that I think it's a fact. It's not, but I feel it's a fact is, in the end, Summer is gone due to negligence.
Yeah.
That's what I've always said.
In some form or another, Summer is gone due to negligence.
Yes.
Now, you can put that in about a million different ways of what that could have been, but that's the bottom line in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, John, when I have run over my different hypotheses with my viewers, I remind them that when I say the bottom line for me is Candace Bly is responsible for Summer Wells' disappearance due to utter negligence. And I will present different forms of negligence. It could have been this, it could have been that, it could have been this or that or the other thing. But regardless of how we boil any of those potential scenarios down, it boils down to negligence for me.
Yeah.
So I blame her.
Yeah.
I even think the negligence could be like who she let around something.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. That's yes. Yeah.
I think if there's any example of just bad decision making, it would be letting Jose move in.
Yeah.
On a whim, moment's notice, some emotionally unstable man I've never met going to come and live around me and my small children and my wee little daughter.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, and in your family situation, John, you're saying you're not going to let somebody come live like that with you. Okay, no, you're not home. You're in Utah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And Brandy has brought in that person into your home. What?
That's crazy, isn't it?
It's insane. And the stories we've heard, I don't have any receipts, we don't have any proof, but different ones that have stated that Candace had a propensity to pick up strangers like down at the gas station, at the convenience store, and take them home with her.
Yeah.
Whoa. No. I wouldn't do that, and I don't have any kids in my house.
Well, knowing what I do now,
you're going to wake up dead in the middle of the night. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you look at the statistics, a non-biological male around children is you might as well stick them in a room with a cage and a lion or something.
Yeah.
Might as
Not
well.
saying you did anything, but high probability something might happen or could happen.
I'm just saying that's to me is the most clear example of bad decision that led to something happening in the summer. If something like that is why.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Dawn, I mean, I'm assuming there had to be some monetary gain in him staying there. You won't convince me otherwise, right? Jose.
Yeah, he's supposed to pay him or something.
Dawn, for him to allow this
that's really strange.
Is weird too.
Yeah.
I really feel like there's more to that story than we know.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's something with Jose's on there that we don't know. I've always felt like Andrew and them hauled down a buttload of stuff.
Yep.
In that U-Haul, and he was there to help expense it and make sure it got everything worked out. I always felt like it was that. You'll never tell me two families decide to move 13 hours away, get there, and are like, you know what?
We'll just go back.
I'm going to pack up all 50 of these kids and hop back in there and take another 13 hours home. I just ain't feeling it. I already transferred my job, cut off my power, house, all this shit. But in 2 hours, I'm going to change my mind and head back.
That makes no sense.
Yeah. I refer to that group of people as the Gloversville 13. Like Ocean's 11. Gloversville 13. There is no way that I can take the elements of that scenario from all sources. There is no way that meshes together into anything that makes any sense whatsoever, other than You was hauling something you shouldn't have been hauling out of New York down to Tennessee.
Right.
And you made yourself a quick turnaround like thousands of other mules across the United States do every day.
Yep.
And how effing stupid do you people think we really are?
I agree. I think it was something more.
Give me a freaking break.
That and the more you hear about the story, the details of it, it makes even less sense.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Exactly. The more they tell us, the less it makes sense.
How do you end up like Jose's story? You go from being married to living with Candace in the span of a couple days. How does that work out?
Well, and I know we're kind of going off the rails here a little bit, I suppose, and it's my fault, but wasn't he with Allie?
Yeah.
First?
I thought so.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's move quickly. Yeah,
isn't Jose why Allie and Candace's friendship went tanked out?
I think so. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
According to Andrew, yes.
And there had to have been something going on there because of Don's story of coming back. Remember, he told us how he was, my words, not his, but driving like a bat out of hell to the point that a trooper pulled him over and ticketed him.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And he's driving like that to get back home for some reason. And he's got the oldest boy in the vehicle with him driving like that.
Yeah, don't make sense.
Yeah.
What happened that Don Wells had to get in that truck with that boy and drive like a bat out of hell to get back to Tennessee?
All right.
That makes you think it was something worse than jealousy, don't it?
Yeah.
I don't think it had to do with Candace banging some other. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Or he wouldn't have let.
I'm trying to be good on your channel.
No, you're fine.
I don't think it had anything to do with Candace doing something inappropriate, an extramarital affair.
Right.
Well, see, Jose had been there for a while at that point,
Yeah.
right?
And
So it wasn't like he just found out that he was there.
Right. Now, Don said that it had something to do with, like, they had a phone call, he and Candace, and he was at his sister's house, and they were having a party, and oh, my gosh. We have so much information in almost 3 years. It just sometimes...
Ain't it wild?
I have a large basket that is about 3 feet deep by a foot wide. And it's probably 3 by 1 by 2. And it is full of papers, notebooks, Post-it notes that have to do with Summer's case.
Oh, yeah, there's just so much.
I can't even organize them, Brandy.
No,
I mean, there's just so much. I can't even figure out a system to go like, okay, this goes under automobiles.
Right.
This goes under humans. This goes under situations. This goes under... I've thought about just pulling the basket out and going live and saying to my viewers, okay, what do we do with this? What file does this go in?
Get you a laptop, Liplocked. There's these things out called computers. You can store all kinds of shit on.
I have a desktop. I'm a techno dummy. I don't know how to use them. I don't even know how to answer my phone while I'm on a live on my phone.
You like pen and paper, don't you?
Yes, baby. I'm a hard copy. Baby, I'm 73 years old. I'm old school. I learned to type on an Underwood manual typewriter in 1968. Come on.
Yeah. Jonathan writes. He writes.
I still take notes.
Yeah, but on paper.
Oh yeah, I'm a hard copy person. Yeah.
I'll play
it. But
and that's crazy. There is so much stuff in Summer's case. We could talk days about it. Everything.
Yeah, and Brandy, so much of it doesn't have anything to really do with her case.
No.
Yeah.
You know?
I was thinking just...
or at least we think it doesn't.
If Candace and Don never came to YouTube, like, there wouldn't be all this to talk about.
No.
Really, you know what I mean?
No.
It would just be a little girl missing. So.
Well, I don't know. I think there would be. I think you'd still have the neighbors and shit coming out if Dawn and Candace never came out.
Right. But it
Well,
wouldn't
we still have Gladys Kravitz. We would definitely still have Gladys Kravitz. Yeah.
So I'm just saying it wouldn't blow up like it.
Well, think about it this way, though. Ziggy never had Fred.
Yeah.
That's true. I would have never met you two. I would never have met John and Brandy Davis if it weren't for the disappearance of Summer Wells.
We would never be on YouTube, probably.
Yeah, I've probably never been on YouTube.
I'm pretty sure I wouldn't either. So,
let me ask you a question real quick while we got you. Let me ask you a question while we got you. You got to tell us today. You got to tell us today what happened to Sebastian. What was it?
My opinion, right?
Yes.
I think that Katie and Sebastian had some sort of a verbal altercation once they got home after their day's activities. I think that Katie called Chris Proudfoot to discuss whatever that was with him. I think that they already had a bed set up in the garage for Sebastian to sleep on whenever this kind of thing came up, because I believe, based on what little information I've been able to garner, Katie would have been able to lock Sebastian into the garage. In other words, he couldn't get back in the house. I think that maybe based on things they have said to us regarding how Sebastian could escalate in his behavior, perhaps that verbal altercation was escalating and maybe becoming physical. I think that Katie Proudfoot either put Sebastian into the garage or outside like Harley Gilly. And I think that Sebastian may have had a pair of his favorite old shoes secreted away somewhere in the garage, because children like my grandson don't like their favorite things, like their pet snake, given away or taken away in order to punish them. And so I think he may have had a pair of shoes. I don't believe he left the house barefoot. I do believe he left the house on his own. Somehow or another, I think that the thud that Katie heard, that she was too lazy to get up and go check on her son, who is a special needs child, to see if he was okay, because a thud is a sound that is associated with something heavy.
All right.
Okay. So anyway, I am more inclined to think that she actually put Sebastian outside and locked him outside. I think that between Seth, Chris, and Katie, Sebastian had it up to here. And he was sick and tired of all of these people, including the CPS people who, according to Chris Proudfoot, told Sebastian, you don't need to be lying. I think that Sebastian felt like he had nobody he could turn to anymore. And I think he ran away, and either with help or without, and something bad has happened to him and he is no longer alive. I think that he ran away on his own, and it is more likely that a bad person saw a young man out in the middle of the night roaming the streets or in the woods and did something to him.
Maybe. Perfect opportunity, you know.
It's possible.
Yeah, teenager walking.
But I don't think that Katie actually did something to him other than putting him out.
Right.
Like, I don't think that she unalived him or anything like that.
See,
and I think if there was the 3-hour phone call, I think a lot of that was about what to do. What are we going to do? And I think Chris Proudfoot may have said to Katie, put his ass outside. And I think maybe like Harley Gilly, he could even be stuck in a chimney somewhere.
You made that reference, and I was like, who is that? And now that you said that, I know who you're talking about. I remember that, hearing about that.
Yeah.
How many years was it later he was found?
John, on top of my head, honey, I can't remember. It's just his case keeps coming to my mind when I think about Sebastian, and I don't know why. It's just every time I try to cipher through what I think might have happened to Sebastian, Harley Gilly comes into my head.
Right.
And I'm not like clairvoyant or well, I am psychotic, but I'm not psychic. But, but it's one of those kind of, ooh, kind of feelings. Like, why do I keep thinking of Harley Gilly when I think of Sebastian Rogers? And I think it's because I'm thinking that with Sebastian being a special needs teenager, he could have gotten himself into a situation he couldn't get out of, like physically.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get so mad, you don't think about,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just want to get out of the situation.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of the people that do the behavior stuff, and they say Katie's telling the truth. A lot of them say that.
I do believe Katie. I do believe her. I just think I don't think she's lying to us. I think she's omitting some things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not hating on your theory. I kind of like it, but I have a couple of issues.
Okay.
Like,
well, I have issues. I even have issues with my own hypothesis.
Right.
Because I'm like, well, what about that? There's so much we don't know. Do you want to tell me what they are?
I think he would have been seen.
By human eyes or by camera?
One or the other for sure. I think the only possibility, remote possibility, would be if he went north to where it's like mountains, forest.
Yes. To the north. Yeah. I'm sorry. To the north, through the woods. Didn't you show a map of that? Haven't you shown a map?
Yeah.
That shows, that wooded area. And doesn't that lead to his old school? Even though I know it's like miles and miles away, but wasn't his school that he liked north? Well,
the school that he went to wasn't.
Not his new school, not Beach. His school that he liked, that it seems like it was like 7 or 8 miles north and would have been through those woods. I confuse myself.
I feel like to avoid cameras, that's about the only way he could have possibly went.
Yeah, I agree.
Seen.
I just don't understand why they haven't found him.
Me either, Brandy, because it seems, why isn't there a scent? Why isn't he?
Yeah. Maybe they need to search further out. Maybe he got further than what we think, so.
And then there's the gross thing that I think about on the other hand, which is the total opposite, John. And I know you usually do an hour and we're on here longer. I'm sorry. Okay, but I think about Harmony Montgomery's case and that Katie wanted out of the house.
Right.
Now, I know the house has been thoroughly, so I know this doesn't make any sense because the scent dogs have been in the house has been searched. I know all of that. I'm just talking about thinking about things, not what I actually think it is, okay? Right. But on the complete opposite, is it possible that in a house that's that nice and that well built, etc., is there a safe room with a drop door in the floor that hasn't been discovered? Is it possible, like Harmony Montgomery, that he's in the house.
I mean, I guess it's possible.
I mean, I don't think he is. I'm just saying, you know.
He's somewhere, though.
Yeah.
He's somewhere. I
wonder if maybe the police had thought he slept in the dumpsters, the reason they searched the landfill. Like maybe he had somehow.
But he doesn't like to be dirty.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I believe that. I'm saying I think that's why the police searched the landfill. The more I think about it,
or because of trash stream that same day.
But okay, was the dumpster a construction site dumpster?
See,
because the site they went to, the landfill, was a construction dump.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the landfill they went to in Kentucky and searched is a landfill for the dumping of construction refuse, not household refuse.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, that would be where the dumpster would have probably been at the construction.
At the construction site.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And construction dumpster wouldn't be all gnarly and nasty and stinky like the one behind a McDonald's.
Yeah, it'd be mainly wood and shit like that.
Yeah, wood and drywall and stuff like that. That could, John, you could have a good point there, because I've wondered why, because you don't go search the expense, the intense human involvement, the number of people. Law enforcement doesn't go search a landfill on a whim.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't they have a dog that went to the construction site?
I've heard that a dog actually tracked a scent there, but I've heard a lot of shit. I don't know. I've never heard it confirmed by.
Yeah. Well, haven't we heard the radio dispatch and radio traffic between the law enforcement that was searching and base? The dog Max, wasn't it Max that followed a scent to the retention pond?
Yeah. Yeah, the one they drained.
And
yeah, I remember hearing that.
I don't know, kids. It makes my head swim.
Mine too. We go over scenarios all the time, so
yeah,
go back and forth what happened to them. It don't make no sense.
Yeah,
I don't like dog scent evidence really, because especially when it's where the kid was all the time and stuff. I don't know. Like in Summer's case, they were talking dog scent evidence. She'd been she run all over the hill all the time.
Yeah, how far that baby was all over that property running barefooted.
Exactly.
I just don't know how.
With shoes, leaving her shoes and leaving her toys and leaving this, that, and the other things she had touched, food wrappers, all kinds of stuff around that place. She'd been up and down that driveway, up and down that dog trail. She's been all over the place. How could they not have a scent of her?
Well, because she
clear
only
down to the road.
All right.
She only went out to her swing though.
That's what Candace said. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Just to swing.
Something similar might happen to Summer. She walked down there to the road, and a person.
That's why I said
good opportunity.
Negligence still covers that scenario in my mind. Your 5-year-old didn't make it down to that road from that house without your knowledge. That's negligence.
Yep.
Yeah. And regardless of regardless of how Sebastian's case comes out, I don't think I will ever, as a grandma and a mom, not as a YouTuber, but as a grandma and a mom, I don't think I'll ever get over the feeling I have toward Katie Proudfoot, that when she heard that thud, she did not go.
Yeah. I would have at 10 o'clock at night,
Of course you would.
Yeah. So, even if it was
babies, I'm about to run out of battery on this phone.
Well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if it, how the audience is reacting, because I can't see the chat. But thank you for inviting me. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. And Yeah. So, yeah, StreamYard drains my Android really quickly. So, all right. Well, I'm going to boot myself. I love you all so much, and I'll be down in your chat until you say bye-bye. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Gives you some stuff to think
I
about.
tell you, I've thought about it because I'm telling you, a lot of body language experts say she ain't lying. We've heard she's passed lie detector tests.
Right.
You know, I get people don't like people, but you got to keep your mind open.
Yeah.
You never know because you still don't know. You know, you cannot like people all you want. That doesn't mean
They're
guilty of one of the most unspeakable things you can do. Right?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And it doesn't help these kids to hold a bunch of hate toward their parents. Spend that energy putting the picture out, stuff like that.
Yeah, because I bet it's very stressful to have a special needs child.
Yeah, I've thought about that too, man. It seems like, you know, if you had a special needs child, you raise him and everything, and then at 15, all of a sudden, you do something. None of it makes great sense.
Nope.
But I want to thank everybody for coming. I hope everybody's been hitting that thumbs up.
Yeah.
Because it helps us fight against the evil algorithm that loves clickbait and trash.
Yeah. And subscribe if you haven't.
Yeah.
First, if you have, I'm sure. But go ahead.
If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. We appreciate it. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Thanks to all the mods, all the members.
Everyone,
the Rewatch Gang. And thanks, Liplocked, for being our guest. Everybody have a great rest of your day. See you at 9 a.m. sharp in the morning. Bye.
Bye.